Guinea is a land overflowing with mineral riches, yet its people struggle under the weight of poverty and inequality. This West African nation is currently engaged in the throes of political instability. A 2021 military coup toppled the long-held regime, igniting a chain reaction of public protests, crackdowns, and concerns about the country's democratic future. In addition to restricting civil freedoms and repressing opposition individuals, the military government dissolved the parliament and other institutions. But they also created a National Transitional Council as a legislative body and nominated civilians to important posts in the transitional administration. In today's video, we are going to be talking about another striking thing that the military government in Guinea has done that has left people shocked. We will also discover why this decision was made. Make sure you watch the video till the end to uncover this story. In the most recent turn of events, the military government in Guinea has dissolved the government without explanation, saying they will appoint a new one. In a video address on Monday night, General Amara Kamara added that daily businesses would continue as usual under the Deputy Secretary Generals until a new government was formed. Since the military regime overthrew President Alpha Condé in 2021, the West African country has been governed by a military government. The West African regional bloc known as ECOWAS has pushed for a quick transition back to civilian rule, and elections are scheduled for 2025. Ibrahima Sori Bangura, Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces, said that members of the dissolved government had to return their vehicles and passports as soon as possible. Their bodyguards also had to end their service, and the ministers' bank accounts were frozen. Tensions have been recently reported between members of the government, and at the beginning of this month, the capital Conakry witnessed a rare protest. The military leaders banned all demonstrations in 2022 and arrested several opposition leaders, civil society members, and the press. Internet access has been restricted for several weeks. The current leader, Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya, ousted the previous administration 3 years ago on the grounds that he was keeping Guinea from devolving into chaos, and criticized the former administration for breaching agreements. He has nevertheless been under fire for being no better than his predecessor since assuming office. Bear in mind that this government that was dissolved has been in office since July 2022. Guinea has been on the news lately. Take note that in November 2023, Guinean Justice Minister Alphonse Charles Wright announced an investigation into its ex-president, Alpha Condé, for treason 2 years after he was removed from power in a military coup. The coup came after he sought to extend his decade-long tenure with a third term in office and violently suppressed protests against the election bid. Since then, Condé has been the subject of numerous legal investigations by Guinea's military leaders, including investigations into claims of corruption and many other crimes. The most recent investigation claimed treason, criminal conspiracy, and cooperation in the unlawful acquisition of weapons and ammunition. Guinea is one of several West and Central African states to have undergone a coup in recent years. Gabon, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger have all seen at least one coup each since 2020. However, Condé is not the only ex-Guinean president to be investigated. Earlier in the same month of November, a drama played out for another Guinean ex-president in legal turmoil, Moussa Dadis Camara, as he was briefly freed from prison in a jailbreak. Camara was recaptured on November 4, hours after being busted out of the Central House prison in Conakry by an armed commando, according to his lawyer. His lawyer, Pepe Antoine Lama, said the jailed ex-president had not willingly participated in the breakout and instead was taken without will by armed men. However, a judicial source, speaking on condition of anonymity, said the masked and armed soldiers who arrived at the prison declared they had come to free Captain Dadis Camara. It was unclear whether Camara had escaped of his own free will. Camara, a former army officer who led the country from December 2008 to January 2010 after seizing power in a coup, has been in custody since September 2022 on several allegations. They are the result of an attack in 2009 that was carried out by security personnel who supported the military government leader at the time. Moving away from all the political saga, a huge fire broke out in Guinea's capital Conakry after an explosion at a fuel depot. Dozens of injured people were taken to two of the city's main hospitals. The Guinean government announced that the fire at the fire terminated 24 people and injured 454. Now it is the military rulers announcing that the government has been terminated. Nothing really lasts forever. However, the reasons behind the Guinean military government's recent dissolution of the interim government remain unclear. The military leaders might argue that the previous government was not moving fast enough on key promises, such as the transition to civilian rule, tackling corruption, or implementing promised reforms. They might portray themselves as taking decisive action to accelerate progress. But is it not President Doumbouya pulling the shots in Guinea? He was the one who appointed this government. So, if he is saying they are not competent enough, it only means he too isn't. It may also be that Doumbouya believes the previous structure was inefficient and hampered progress, necessitating a reorganization for better administration. The dissolution could also be a power grab by the military, allowing them to further tighten their control and potentially extend their rule beyond the promised transition period. The previous government might have seen that the current leader was not competent and was open to dialogue, potentially challenging the leader's authority. Dissolving it could be an attempt to stifle opposition and consolidate control. Was the government planning another coup? It is difficult to say if the government was planning a coup, as this is still in its early stages. The leaders also have not said anything or shown proof that this dissolving of the government was a result of a coup attempt. But most likely, this was the main cause of this saga. How is this going to affect the country? Dissolving the administration can undermine confidence in the transition process and spark demonstrations and unrest, particularly if there are no apparent reasons for doing so. This volatility may discourage investment and impede the growth of the economy. Without a functioning interim government, the process of holding elections and returning to civilian rule could be further delayed, creating uncertainty and frustration among the population. Come to think of it, this might be Doumbouya's plan. The military leaders may establish a more authoritarian and repressive atmosphere, infringing on human rights and suppressing opposition, if they use the dissolution to consolidate power and limit civil liberties. This is already an authoritarian government. How do they just wake up one morning and dissolve a government that was put in place by them? The international community, including regional bodies like ECOWAS, has already condemned the dissolution and might impose sanctions or withdraw support, negatively impacting the economy and access to international aid. The African Union echoed ECOWAS' condemnation and urged the leaders to respect the transition process and return to dialogue. The situation in Guinea raises broader concerns about the trend of military takeovers in West Africa. The international community might discuss broader strategies to address the root causes of instability and promote democracy in the region. It's uncertain how the public will respond to the dissolution in the days ahead. If the leaders successfully deal with the populace's concerns, the populace may submit, but protests and turmoil may also intensify if nothing happens. The situation in Guinea is still dynamic, and so is the response from the international community. As the situation develops, more moves and declarations are probably in store. It will be essential to track the involvement of the international community and how well it influences the military leaders' decisions to comprehend Guinea's future and that of the larger West African region. The military leaders' sudden dissolution of the interim government has left a long-lasting shadow over the nation's destiny. Even if it was stated that faster progress was the goal, fears of power consolidation and worries about a return to authoritarianism are heightened by the lack of openness and supporting data. Guinea finds itself at a crossroads, but one thing is certain: the way forward necessitates openness, responsibility, and a shared dedication to democracy and human rights. Then and only then may Guineans dream of a future devoid of anxiety and uncertainty. We have come to the end of this video. What impact do you think this will have on the already struggling civilians and the wider West African region? Will the leaders reinstate the government, or will they tighten their grip? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Encourage us to keep making videos like this for you by liking this video and subscribing to the New Tourist channel. Do not forget to turn on notifications too, so you get notified whenever we upload videos like this for you. Thanks for watching, and see you in our next video.